Om Maya Devyai Namo Namaha. Om Angirasaya Namo Namaha. Om Kaplaya Namo Namaha. Om Gargaya Namo Namaha. Om Vedavyasaya Namo Namaha. Om Dharmaya Namo Namaha. Om Matra Sakyai Namo Namaha. Om Sri Radha Krishnabhyam Namo Namaha. Humble pranam to all the audience and future audience for joining in this journey. Thank you so much. Let us start this journey. And this journey is going to be those who are joining in here. This journey is going to be very interesting, full of ideas and full of different images. But keep in mind that the kind of topic that I have chosen in Vivaaha Samskaara, it relates to the entire Vedic worldview in many dimensions, as you will see later on. The first lecture and second lecture is really the introduction and orientation towards the final goal. But would like to request you, and I need your help, your active, engaging participation with suggestions. Be a candidate to explore further, write a presented term paper, bring in younger generation, active professional to participate, ask questions related to presented material. You can also ask the questions on Google Class website, and I should be able to answer those questions so that greater audience can look at those. It's important to ask questions, become interactive. Because as a teacher, if I see the classroom and the students sitting in the class, if they do not ask any question, following things happen. Teacher himself or herself get less and less interested. And teacher also does not get any feedback from the students. So that based on that feedback, articulation, the subject matter, the depth of subject matter can be then adjusted accordingly. So interactive. And the third thing is when questions are not asked, the teacher will not be able to go deep enough to explain, explore the hidden dimensions of any topic. So it's a very important, I request you with my folded hand, and every question is a big question for me. Lok Sangraha Yogadharma-Kshetra, that's the new topic proposed, which encompass Hindu wisdom in various dimensions. And this itself is a sadhana even for a yogi, as we will see as we go along. Many of us believe, those who are very busy and in their routine work, sorry, we don't have time for our own self. We are in kind of a rat race. When I was intercommunicating my colleagues and others. This particular term is very much used. We are all in rat race. What is a beautiful here quotation? Trouble with the rat race is that even if you win, you are still a rat. In rat race, you do not get transformed, enlightened to a greater reality. You still remain the rat. So we have to find time to go beyond this mode of existence. Let's look at the big picture here. Central pillars of Vedic Sanatan Dharmic, is a misspelling here, Dharmic civilization. These are the 5 pillars that I have been identifying during these courses. Sanskrit, the word, the language itself. Shastra, the scriptures. Sanskriti, not culture, we will define a little later. Sanskar, we are working on it. And Shastra, defense establishment. Any civilization which hope to flourish, survive, and have a sustainable durability for a long, long time, these 5 pillars have to be taken care of with full understanding and full weight of knowledge. Again, I keep on asking you and expressing my opinion on the language itself. Please use Sanskrit-based terminology in your private and social communication. Terminology. An interesting, powerful example. It was given by Professor Arthur Ryder, University of California, in July 1925. That long ago, when even the India was not even politically liberated. He wrote a very good translation of Panchatantra, and he writes in the introduction, the Panchatantra is a Niti Shastra, or a textbook of Niti. The word Niti means roughly the wise conduct of life. Western civilization must endure a certain shame in realizing that no precise equivalent of term is found in English, French, Latin, or Greek. Therefore, many words are therefore necessary to explain what Niti is. Very bold statement, very powerful statement, very effective statement, very truthful statement. My comments. Most Indians, particularly English-educated Indians, must also endure deep shame and humiliation that they continue using wrong terminology and associated understanding. This is a sign of deeply ingrained, colonially inspired mental slavery, the tragedy of Hindu civilization. I, along with some others, including many Western thinkers and writers, have been able to recognize this malady and have been trying to cure it for themselves and for others. Very important to observe here, first lecture so far in the different courses, I am presenting slides with a lot of notes in it. So when you go back, you can look at those besides listening to and get a much better understanding and and appreciation for what you're reading. I'm giving you another example, contemporary example. In the area of Indian politics, the word Rajniti versus Rajaniti. Rajaniti's antonym of Rajniti means unwise conduct of full of indecency, hatred, and blatant lies. But in private or public domains, especially by Indian politicians of different ideological colors, the word Rajaniti is called as Rajniti. Term Rajaniti almost disappeared from vocabulary. Politics, not Rajniti. Politics was infusion of Rajniti and Rajaniti. So we have to be very careful about when we are trying to make a comparative understanding and proper understanding. So I am here projecting this original wisdom with new innovation, new articulation. Vivaaha Samskaara is the expression of Sanskriti and not of the culture. Let me define culture and Sanskriti. The totality of socially transmitted behavior patterns of a people, a style of social and artistic expression, particular to the society or class, intellectual and artistic activity. It's American Heritage Dictionary. That's how the culture is defined. Sanskriti is not defined in a similar fashion. It is not the totality of behavior patterns, not the totality of social artistic expression, not the totality of intellectual artistic activities, but only those patterns, only those expressions, only those activities through manas, speech and action that enrich, enhance total wellness of all human beings, non-human beings, and the natural world at all levels, individual, family, social, national, international, cosmic. That is called the Sanskriti. Culture is totality of all kinds of, just like, Folk culture, contemporary, political culture. You have so many kind of cultures. For example, terrorist culture, they have their own culture. So you will see these are the cultural manifestation of behavior patterns of certain groups. You have what you call corporate culture, elite culture. You have all kinds of cultures. Sanskriti is all those lifestyle, all those expressions, all those intellectual artistic activities, all those ways of living that express the total and help to understand and maintain the total wellness of all humanity. And Sanskrit Yoga-Kshetra is exterior Sanskritic patterns, behavior, activities connected integrally and organically with interior sattvic field of human nature, leading toward the celebration of joyful living and eventually the Jivan Mukti. And it's a very interesting to observe here and make a comment about every field of discipline, every field of knowledge, every field of professional life have their own technical terminology. And they are highly pregnant and addressed to that particular field. You cannot communicate, you cannot understand if you work in a corporate culture, in business culture, they have their own. If you're looking at legal profession, they have their own technical terminology. You have to use it, you have to understand it. If not, you are out of place. Similarly, the very Hindu tradition require for all of us to understand and use the technical term. Now, the question you may ask, then we don't have to use English language? No, we have to use English language. I am using, unfortunately, I'm not able to learn yet how to type in Hindi language or Sanskrit language on computer. I know the language, I read the language, I recite the language, but typing is I have not learned yet. Yes, we will be using English language. We can use any other languages. We must learn several languages, but technical terminology cannot be corrupted and polluted, because equivalent terms, equivalent concept and ideas behind those terms are not available on one-to-one basis in English language or many other languages. And here I request you, I really appreciate this comment that I figured out and searched for it, and suddenly I got this by Albert Camus, who was a French Algerian philosopher, author, dramatist, and journalist. He was recipient of Nobel Prize in 1957 at the age of 44, youngest recipient in history. And he wrote, "Don't bark behind me, I may not lead. Don't bark in front of me, I may not follow. Just walk beside me and be my friend." This is the concept of Sakha. This is definition of Sakha. We will walk together, we will learn together, we will dance together, we'll laugh together, we will cry together. We will learn together. We will work together. This is the real meaning of Sakha. And I fully concur with this idea. That is also my philosophy of life. My pertinent question with reference to lectures 1 and 2. What is going on? You may ask this question, what is going on? No presentation of Vivaaha Samskaara yet. Very valid question, very beautiful question. Answer: the foundation of trunk of the Ashwat tree is being laid out for exploring one of its branches called Vivaaha Samskaara. The entire structural configuration, along with its meaning, purpose, procedures, and rituals, cannot be understood without understanding and realizing the broader worldview. One will see that the structure is not isolated. Vivaaha Samskaara is not isolated, but interconnected, interrelated, interdependent with the wider and deeper dimensions of the existence, divine, human, natural world. Very important to realize. Before we go to a particular aspect, a particular branch of this tree, Vivaaha Samskaara, we have to go to the roots and trunk to see what does it mean, how we can do, what are the consequences, what are the pluses and minuses. So please hold your breath as you will be exposed to the beauty, wonder, majesty, and mystery of the Vivaaha Samskaara. Thanks so much. I bow down to your presence. The traditional understanding in the Vedic worldview, in oral discourses, written discourses, website, written essays, the following paths are prescribed to attain moksha: Sannyas Yogadharma, Jnana Yogadharma, and Bhakti Yogadharma. And unfortunately, these paths appear to demand the apparent commitment to the principle of negation or denial of the world, as they have been inculcated. They by themselves do not address and do not propose that you neglect the world, you neglect the karma. So this is very important, but this is how it has been articulated and propagated. The path of Niskam Karma Yoga has been ignored, belittled, and devalued. And what happens as a result? Neglect and disrespect for essential karma kand, including rituals, along with the Vivaaha Samskaara. You hear in the public domain the voices, why do I need this rituals? Why do I need this karma kand? And in fact, as a greater consequence, I'm making here a connection. The very foundation of Vedas, the one element karma kand, was ridiculed, ignored over the periods of thousands of years, and gave rise to what you call a hatred kind of aspect to the karma kand. Let's look at big question about karma in contemporary times. Vivaaha Samskaara, why do we have to follow rituals? Just a reminder, Vivaaha Samskaara is a karma kshetra by itself, with or without rituals. It's a karma yoga, it's a karma kshetra. So, does the karma yoga have the same status as the other following paths? Sannyas, Gyan, and Bhakti. Let us see what the Gita proclaims. Bhagavan said the renunciation and the yoga of action both bring the ultimate good. But of the two, yoga action is better than the renunciation of action. What a wonderful proclamation. Yoga of action. Karma yoga, and here defined as a niskam karma yoga, without getting attached to the fruits of the karma of your actions. You must do your actions for advancing, for enlightenment, for moving towards the moksha dharma, that's the ultimate goal. The sages whose sins are destroyed, whose indecisions are dispelled, whose selves are disciplined, and who rejoice in the welfare of every being, attains the bliss, Brahman, moksha, while living in the body. Sarvabhutite rataha, very important term. Welfare of every being. And this is what coming out to be later on discussed about, talked about, the Sarvabhutite rataha. Even yogis have to be engaged in, despite being out of the worldliness, engaged in the karma yoga for the sarvabhutite, welfare of every being. And we are going to talk about this topic later on, because this is very important, sarvabhutite rataha. This is really the new innovation I'm going to, based on this idea, new innovation I'm going to introduce in the Vivaaha Samskaara rituals. Sarvabhutite rataha. It's a Lok Sangraha Yogadharma-Kshetra. One attaining moksha through the path of Lok Sangraha, while living in the body in the world, is identified as mumuksh or jivan mukta. This is a very unique doctrine disclosed by Bhagavan Krishna to re-establish totality of lost wisdom. He had taught this to Devarshi Vaivasvat Manu. Siddhant, I'm putting up the doctrine here. Karma Yogadharma-Kshetra must be re-established as one of the prime paths to the Moksha Yoga Dharma. Even Mumuksha got to remain engaged in this Kshetra for the well-being of human world, other living world, and natural world. We have to care about the existence in totality. All this leads, as you will see, very foundation of Vivaaha Samskaara Yogadharma-Kshetra. And these kshetras, these yogas are interrelated, interdependent, entangled. Here is the cosmic harmony of the universe, which we were giving indication about. Satyam is the earth is supported. By Satyam is the earth is supported. By the sun is the heaven supported. By Ritam, cosmic order, the Adityas stand. And Soma is set upon the sky. The above mantra will gain additional significance when deal with the Vivaaha Samskaara. Vivaaha Samskaara does directly link to the cosmic harmony, world harmony, harmony of natural world, harmony of the human world, which is a very important idea. Interconnectivity, not arbitrarily, but with harmony. Let's look at here. This is the Vivaaha Samskaara. The animals, birds, the nest is being made. Graha is being made. Home is being made by these birds. They do not have school. They have no teacher and no work, and they are yet world's best engineer. They have no PhD in mathematics and physics, but still they know how to build their home. And Vivaaha Samskaara really leads to building a home, a new home. Unfortunately, this is what has happened. Animals, birds, and women do not have souls and intelligence according to Christianity. Even scientific world, they say they do not have intelligence. It's very, very important to understand the growth and existence of different ideas. Vedic wisdom tradition from the very beginning tell us every living entity has intelligence, consciousness, and they know how to live in this world. None is excluded. Now, here is the something very important I want to articulate with you. Before moving forward, let me explain the prevailing confusions and conflicts and misunderstanding about the ideas expressed by the following terms. What is Gyan? What is Vigyan? What is Yoga? What is Karma? What is Kshetra? What is Dharma? They're all pervasive, universal. And I'm going to taking through examples to explain this for one particular entity. They are highly multidimensional terms, very pervasive throughout the Vedic canons, but they are elusive. They have not been defined, characterized altogether through consideration particular entity, context, or situation. As a result, their hidden fields of coherence and consistency remains elusive. I have a hard time. I've been doing sadhana for last 40 years, and I have had hard time for last so many years to figure it out really how do we distinguish the interrelated, the bold concept, the primary concept. Here in an attempt to unveil their hidden meanings, boundaries, and limits. And this attempt will then try to dispel out, if you focus upon it, all the confusion, all the conflicts. You should be able to point out each of these crystallized ideas in purity. To example, food recipe and the water. Let us look at we are going to prepare food. We need recipe. Selecting ingredients, that's what you do, selecting their proportion, identifying the procedures that include sequence to mix the ingredients. Then one gets this is all Vijnana. Jnana, Vijnana go together. All details about reaching some entity, end entity. This is what you call the Vijnana. What kind of recipe, what should be the final product? This is the Jnana. We have to start with what kind of recipe we are looking for. What kind of final product we are looking for. That Jnana we must have to start with. And then spell out the Vijnana. All elements that go together and process and make up the final product. What is the yoga here? We are making the food. What is yoga? Mixing of all ingredients in a predetermined sequence and proportion. That's the yoga process. You cannot arbitrarily mix. You cannot arbitrarily have a sequence. Keep in mind, whole is more than sum of its parts. Whenever you have this idea in mind, that's one of the very prominent foundational definitions of yoga. Karma. What is the karma here doing? Action to carry out all these steps. What is the dharma? Identity of the final recipe. Name, structure, properties, including taste, smell, durability, sustain its original property. All these properties of the final product are the dharma or identity of that recipe. Then what is kshetra? Field of particular recipe. Number of different recipes can be generated through same ingredients. Their properties may be different. That's why it's called the kshetra. You pick up the same ingredients, but changing the sequence and proportion and process, you may get different kind of recipe or jnana. This ever-expanding method defining all the loaded terms is not available either written or oral field. This is the new knowledge I am giving you, articulating to you based on my meditation. Let's look at the water. Hydrogen molecule, oxygen molecule becomes water molecule. Hydrogen molecule has its own dharma kshetra. Oxygen molecule has its own dharma kshetra, own properties. And when they combine together, this combination, the organic process, brings whole new entity, water. It has own dharma kshetra, its own properties. So dharma kshetra means each of has its own dharma, means name, structure, properties, active potential, mutation, internal time. And this chemical process of union is called the yogic process. You cannot simply say, well, properties of hydrogen molecule, properties of oxygen molecule are added together to have a properties of water. That's fundamentally incorrect. All the entities, biological, non-biological, have their own dharma kshetra, which is dynamic in nature. Also, I want to address here just that if I give you the contemporary scientific understanding, if I give you quantum structure of hydrogen molecule, if I give you quantum structure of oxygen molecule, nothing else. Based on this piece of information, can you tell me that combination of that will make a water and all the properties of water under all conditions? Can you predict those? The answer emphatically no. We have to know many, many intermediate steps as we go along, because new level of existence has its own dharma. A new, what you call the emergence takes place. New properties emerge. And you will see that in Vivaaha Samskaara Yogadharma. Contemporary understanding as it is done today does not address that question. Once we have come together in yogic union, Vivaaha Samskaara, what is next? What do they do? What is their identity? Where there is dharma? These questions are very important. We are going to address those. You have big peak kshetra, another example, all-encompassing, pervading foundation of existence, unmanifest and manifest, original source of all the field. And I'm giving you the field example here: quantum field, electromagnetic field, radiation field, audio field, body field, biochemical field, chemical field, mental field, neurological field, social field, AI field, medical field, engineering field, and in inexhaustible variety of fields. Dharma field, adharma field, jnana field, ajnana field. Remember, Dharam Kshetra, Kurukshetra, very first word is a Dharam Kshetra. And if you look at the Kshetra Chaitanya Yoga, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. So now let's look at what the yoga means, yoga field, yoga kshetra means. These are the definitions of yoga kshetra. Nowadays, this is a really creating impression. Yoga is a simply physical exercise or mental exercise only. This is very important. Whenever you talk about the yoga, there's immediately talked about what enlightenment. Whenever you talk about yoga, they talk about Patanjali Yogadharma only, dominantly. Let's look at the primary meaning characteristic. Please examine them carefully. That should destroy our deeply ingrained ignorance about it. Look at how many words are used in English terms to define yoga: to yoke, to connect, to bind, to unite, to unify, to harness, to meditate, to recollect, to be harmoniously linked, to be integrated, to be logically connected. Harness, embody, re-embody, creative force of the universe to control and manipulate these forces after attainment of the divine powers called siddhis. Ultimately attaining the liberation, keval, the total autonomy and freedom from the apparent entanglement of the material nature. All these terms, all this definition matrix give you a holistic, total view of what we mean by yoga. Derivatives are combination, mixture, synthesis, relation, application, remedy, device, order, fitness, meditative abstraction, mental concentration. I just talked to you about just few slides back. This is the hydrogen oxygen combined together, say yogic union. All the synthetic world, they are doing synthesis, even development of the medicine and drugs is a synthetic process. This is really yogic process. And I call it here, I'm not going to define further, adhibhautik yoga. There are three kinds of yoga, primarily: adhyatmic, adidevic, and adhibhautik. I'm defining the bigger picture to you in front. Let us look at what the yogic powers, kind of yogic powers one can attain, siddhis. You can see here there are 18. Capacity, anima, mahima, lagima, capacity to assume infinitesimal form, capacity to assume big form like mountain, capacity to assume lightness, capacity to fully control all the senses and cognitive faculty, capacity to secure all the worldly, otherworldly pleasure, prakam, capacity to embody the divine attributes, capacity to propel Maya power, capacity to fulfill all the desire, capacity to overcome hunger, thirst, birth, death, grief, and delusion. These are the powers, yogic powers. Capacity to see far, far distances. You're talking about, look at the far, far distances. We are using the technology through technical medium, through this internet, through the electromagnetic waves, through these radiations. Audio, electromagnetic waves combined together give us this capacity to see far, far distances. Human being can develop those kind of capacity within themselves, for themselves, by themselves. They're all hidden within the human body and personality, and they are called yogic powers. To hear sounds from far distances, capacity to reach wherever mind goes, to create another body form and enter into other living bodies, capacity to leave body at will, capacity to be with gods and goddesses and other living beings, capacity to know the past and future events, capacity to restrain inherent powers of sun, agni, water, wind, capacity to not get defeated by anyone. These are the primary 18 siddhis that one can achieve. By the way, not a single individual, rishi or yogi, could achieve all the 18 at the same time under the same body. Very important to realize the yogic siddhis can be attained, and you can here I can discuss each of those in a separate lecture series, how they compare and contrast the modern scientific communication worldview and biological worldview, near-death experiences, out-of-body experience, leave the body at will. Yoga for health and healing. This is called Ayush Yoga, Ayurveda Yoga, Dharma. Sickness, old age, and death are avoided by one who has obtained a body made out of the fire of yoga. This body itself calls fire of yoga. So, what I will discuss here, by performing dharma, striving for economic prosperity, fulfilling personal desires, and attaining the final liberation, for all these, health is the most important source. Diseases are the robbers of this source, as well as the very splendor of living. This is the robbers of these sources, as well as also robbers of very splendor of living. Charak Samhita. Very important. Yoga tradition, that's why I have used the term, what you call Lok Sangraha Yogadharma-Kshetra. I have already defining the yoga Lok Sangraha in previous courses. I am redefining some of the features here, yoga. Next time, I will also define some of the initial features of Dharma Kshetra I have already defined. And then next lecture is going to directly move on the sanskars. That's the plan that I have here. I think, because the attention, span of focus attention get lost after you go beyond 45 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour. So let's have a prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejastu Navadhitumastu, Ma Vidyusavahi, Om Santi Santi Santi. This prayer is a collective prayer, just like we have gathered here. Let's must learn together, consume together, digest together the wisdom. Let us sing together. Let us dance together. Let us be together. This is the Lok Sangraha. For what? Why we are going to be together? For creating well-being of all the entities into the cosmic harmony. That's what togetherness is. You might wonder about, because this prayer can also be recited by a group of bandits or group of terrorists. But their aim of reciting is not for achieving what you call peace and serenity. It's not for achieving the harmony and the well-being. It is just opposite. So it's very interesting. When context changes, the meaning of the same phrases and same ideas get transformed. They have a different value. Let me give you another example here. Before I move on to the next slide, which is a question and answer section, let's look at this here. If I ask you a question, I have $30 in my bank. That number is small or large? I am poor or I am wealthy? Certainly answer is going to be, for us in this age, $30. No, you are poor. You are not wealthy at all. Now, look at the context. I change the context. If I tell you, my dear listeners, this body, I have 30 diseases. Oh my goodness. 30 numbers becomes the largest number. Very large numbers. Very scary number. So the context has changed. As a result, the meaning and value of a statement and ideas will change. Look at the dharma. Concept of dharma-kshetra. I am a soldier fighting on the front against my enemies. And I am determined and focusing on killing the enemy, destroying the enemy. What do I get in reward? I am the hero. I have all the rewards. But suppose I kill another person on the street. That's the adharma. And you will go to jail. See, context has changed. Killing is the incident, but the context has changed. So in one context, the same action became dharma. In another context, same action may become adharma. In one context, the same action, the one action can become adharma. In other, it becomes dharma. So this is the really wonderful, beautiful field of existence, my dear friends. You have been so kind for listening to me. You are kind listening to the Vedic wisdom under new context and articulation, newer ideas, newer kind of yogic synthesis. I bow down to all of you and I ask for your pardon and I ask for your blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's move to the session question answer. All kind of questions, easy, hard, are most welcome. Please limit your question to the current session. Your question promote our meaningful dialogues that clarify the potential confusion, misunderstanding, promote enhanced understanding, a new insight as well. I myself as an acharya will get an opportunity to learn about some of the new insight that can be incorporated in these lectures. Again, my gratitude to your immense learning, your kindness, and I look forward for your blessing. So I'm stopping here and we are open to questions. You can, I think there are, if you can raise your hand, then probably she can So you can, Shruti can, pick up your name and then you can answer the question. While answering the question, please unmute your videos and audios so I can see you and listen to you. Thank you. Yes, I think there is one question here by Dr. Anil Vajpayee.
No, I was just going to thank you for excellent lecture and clarifying some very confusing terminologies which are in use, and we regularly encounter them in all the discourses and discussions, and but without knowing the meaning, it becomes very difficult to really grasp the depth of what is being taught. So thank you again. Thank you very much. And it's
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure to see you. It's always a blessing to see you and listen to your talk. Thank you.
Anil, you are so kind. Please convey my regards and blessing to all the family.
We'll do that.
You
Thank
are
you.
so kind. And I think, the lesson that, I'm trying to convey, that each of us must realize what we can do to get to the knowledge through what kind of technical terms we use. For example, we use soul all the time. No, this is perfectly invalid. Always use Atman. Now, even in what I just want to reinforce you, if you look at the cards, the that you give out for attending the Vivaaha ceremony to your family, friends, and everyone, always use the word marriage and wedding. The Vivaaha Samskaara disappeared. And I'm going to define later on, once I have discussed the Vivaaha Samskaara and compare and contrasting with the idea of marriage and wedding. So I think we can start fixing up things with full understanding, and that will be real great contribution to the whole humanity. Yes,
We need to know the fundamentals. We really
yes,
need to understand
that
the
is correct.
fundamentals
That is
before
correct.
we can start practicing
That
it.
is correct. That is
Otherwise,
correct.
there will be misuse of the information.
I fully agree with you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the help.
Yeah, there are other participants raising hands.
नमस्ते
Sudha Pandya, I think, raising hand, I guess.
हाँ जी नमस्ते जी
Namaste ji, namaste ji. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yeah, thank you for all your very knowledgeable input in Vedic Shastra. I had two questions. I did not understand the word Loka Sangraha and Loka Sangraha. And also, there was a sentence that you had that is the whole is more than the sum of the parts. How is it?
Yes, whole is more than sum of the parts.
Right.
And so let me define first this whole is more than sum of the parts. Let me give you a simple example. The two ideas which have been going in the scientific world for some time, new emergence has taken place. For example, the older ideas was, if I say human body is a combination of all the organs, heart plus lung, for all the organs combined, brain, it becomes what you call that's how you say the body is. Body is combination of all these organs, all these materials. That's the one viewpoint. New viewpoint and Vedic viewpoint says, no, this is not true under all conditions. Human body itself has an independent existence, though it contains all the organs. It has independent personality. So this is really what we call personality or dharma of what I call lung. Dharma of all the organs is different, but they are integrated. They are coordinated, make up this body. So body gets an independent dharma, independent existence, but depending upon all the organs. So this is the whole is more than sum of its parts. Just like a recipe. Yeah, just like a recipe or anything. You pick up anything. For example, you look at your home. If I say home is equal to columns plus slab plus foundation plus this or plus that, no. Total combined together, joined together is home. No. Home is the first entity that you have in mind. And what you have in mind, Vijnana, through Vijnana, through these components, you are assembling components in a particular fashion, particular style, particular understanding, and then you get a home. It gets its own entire personality. That's where aesthetics come from. That's where the beauty comes from. Beauty of hand and beauty of your legs, or beauty of torso, or beauty of head combined together will not give you the aesthetic pleasure or beauty of the whole body. So beauty of the whole body is more than beauty of each of these components. So that is in every entity. I can keep on talking for I can give you the whole 6-month lessons on this aspect only. But this is the new emergence idea coming up in the biological sciences and in the physical sciences and quantum world. Oh my God, this is a wonderful, beautiful world. Now, the other thing, Lok Sangrah, I have given a detailed analysis and understanding of the Lok Sangrah term in previous 2 courses. Achha. What you can do if you want to look at those courses which are available to you on the classroom website, Google Classroom website. Yeah, the entire documentation is there. But let me give you briefly. Lok Sangrah means individually, in a collective way, individually in a collective way, performing the Niskam Karma Yoga for the welfare of the whole humanity. That's the Lok Sangrah. Whatever you do as an individual, for example, look at you have a family. Okay, whatever you do in family, everyone else in the family will be affected. Don't you agree with me? Anything you do in terms of language, in terms of actions, everyone will be affected. Here say, you do that kind of activity, manasa vacha karmana, that affects in a way that everyone else involved in get what you call the well-being, move towards well-being, towards the better health, towards the better environment, to better, everything that you consider to be better, good. If I inculcate through my action activities and these good qualities in the whole set of family, that becomes Lok Sangrah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question, please? Do you have any other hands?
Moti ji is raising her hands.
Okay.
जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री कृष्ण बहन जी।
भारत के हर प्रदेश में अलग अलग विवाह की पद्धति है, मतलब हर एक तरह से होती। तो अगर कोई लड़की शादी होके गई और उसके बाद ही उसके वहां उसके घर में शादी है, ननद की किसी की, तो कैसे उन संस्कारों में वो अपने को एडजस्ट, कैसे वो समझ पाएगी? क्यों इतना अलग अलग हर प्रदेश में अलग तरीका है? तो उसका मूल सिद्धांत कहाँ पर है? कैसे क्यों इतने अलग क्यों हो गए? भारत के अंदर विवाह की पद्धतियां बिल्कुल अलग है एक दूसरे से।
This is a very wonderful question, but I will not be able to answer fully here at this time, because I have not described the fundamental principles behind the Vivaaha Samskaara. Now, the Vivaaha Samskaara itself, I'm going to go through starting next lecture, the Vivaaha Samskaara itself, or all the Samskaara itself, have been going through continuous changes for last several thousand years. And they have included the local practices, local traditions, and local customs without understanding why they are doing what they are doing. And that's what happened. For example, look at the, juta chorana, stealing the shoes. What kind of tradition that is? Where does it come from? What does it mean? And these are all, whimsical, kind of traditions, custom that they have been incorporated. And as a result, there is a lot of corruption, pollution, that of uprooting of the wisdom. So this is the really part of these questions I'm addressing through this course as well. And then we'll discuss when we talk about the different rituals, different vidhi, then we will also address this issue, what has been going on.
तो इन विकारों को जो आ गए हैं विकार, इनके लिए हम लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए?
क्या
ये जो विकार आ गए हैं, जैसे ये जूता चुराना, तो इसके लिए हम लोग क्या किस तरह सुधार ला सकते हैं?
यस, सुधार ला सकती हैं. दिस इज द फर्स्ट step one can do. And the priest or the acharyas, pandits, can do a much, much greater service. I hope some pandits are coming to join in, despite we are sending, thousands of emails to all the pandits and priests and all that. But they think, this guy is he does not have he's not a formal priest or pandit. So why I have to listen to it? This is the very core of our not learning the wisdom, wherever it is coming from. So the priest can do a big help in really in that moving in the right direction. Individually, for example, you are still very, आप इतनी बुद्धिजीवी हैं, इतनी अद्भुत स्वरूप है आपका, आप लेक्चर देती हैं, आपके गुरु इतने जो है परंपरा से आती हैं. And what you can do, what one can do, whether you have been formally trained or not, by listening to the lecture, contemplating upon the lecture, I think you start talking about these in the families. That's the first thing you do. Talking about. And talking about simply not that I say this. No, this is why it is so. When questions are raised, we have to answer those questions based on the fundamentals. So this is what every one of us must get engaged in. When we make social gathering has become, the kind of a party. I'm talking about the party.
Yeah.
If you record the conversation among the participants and play back in the same other party, the same thing goes on. Besides gossip, nothing goes on in any of the fields of understanding. Moving forward.
Yeah.
Moving, that's why the younger generation, they don't listen to parents. You have nothing new to offer to me that can I integrate in my experience, my upbringing. So why should I listen to you? So this is what important. Whenever new generations raise questions, it is our dharma and duty to try to find appropriate answers for them so that they can be satisfied, and then they will start thinking about themselves and they will follow the right path. Let's start talking. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question? Hello?
बहुत सुंदर आपने बताया, क्योंकि हमने वही अब कोलंबस में एक शादी जो ये गीता के मंत्रों से शादी करवा रहे थे, कहीं हमने देखा हनुमान चालीसा से शादी करवा देते हैं।
कहीं गीता के श्लोक पढ़े जा रहे हैं।
हाँ,
This
और कहते देखा पंडित जी कितनी सुंदर संस्कृत बोल रहे हैं।
this is the fundamental
Yeah.
corruption and pollution in the Vivaaha Samskaara. By the way, the audience, I want to tell you something very important since you raised this question. In Vivaaha Samskar, later on discussion length, in Vivaaha Samskars, look at the original document. It means Graha Sutra of all the four Vedas. Graha Sutra, which are the foundation of all the Sanskar, all you will find out in Vivaaha Samskar, the moksha term does not appear. Moksha concept does not appear. Only three concepts: Arth, Dharma, and Kam. Moksha Dharma does not appear. Why? How? We will talk about if you ask the question later on, when I'm presenting the foundation of the Vivaaha Samskar rituals for the Vivaaha Samskar. So those who are bringing in the moksha concept or these kind of, you start from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is sung in the battlefield, and this is not a battlefield. This is out of context. Tell them what is your new dharma, what as a couple together have to do to build your life. That life is in harmony with the natural world, with the pristine, pure, the human world. How can you teach others by living a sattvic way of life? Combined together, going through trial and tribulations, going through ups and downs. How can you contribute to the well-being of everyone around you, including natural world, the nature? If I pollute, keep polluting. Look at the Ganga ji. मदर गंगा की आरती उतारेंगे, यमुना जी की आरती उतारेंगे, सब नदियों का नाम लेंगे, लेकिन हम उसी में जाके जो है गंदगी फेंकेंगे. Is the puja? No, it's a highest degree of stupidity. Thank you. Thank you, my listener. Thank you, my listener. I know if I have used the harsh words, please pardon me, because nowadays I have learned for several years that unless you use proper technical term, even they may sound harsh, listeners do not listen. Any other question, my dear devotees? Do you hear, Sriti ji, any other person?
I don't think there are more questions left. Professor Shibaji, I don't think there are more questions left.
Okay. Then we can.
Thank you so much for enlightening us.
Thank you so much for all the help and support and guidance and blessing from all of you. You are so kind on this, what you call insignificant human being. Thank you so much. Appreciate very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. And let's terminate the session. Thank you again. Thank you, audience, for listening. Thank you again, Shivaji. Let's terminate.
Thank you
Thank
so much. Thank you so much. Next time, we are going to introduce the sanskars.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. That will be very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you.